Okay, for today, we're going to quickly look at these tools in Inventor. These are extremely useful tools, and getting comfortable with them will save you a lot of time and headaches in the long run. So we're going to open up Inventor, we're going to start a new part, and we're going to start a new sketch. And for this, it doesn't matter what plane. We normally do the XZ plane, but it really doesn't matter. And we're going to use our line tool, and we're just going to click a bunch of times and just make kind of a random design in the corner here. And then at some point I want you to double click, so that will end making a line. And then I want you to take your line tool and then start above where you ended and click, and then click down, and then keep clicking until you get back to the corner here. So what I want you to do is to make some extra space here. Okay, so you've got some random design, doesn't really matter what it is, as long as you have some overhanging pieces like I have right here, and you start on one line and end at the other. So we're going to use the trim tool. That's going to be the first thing that we're going to do. I'm going to zoom in, so this extra stuff that I put on here, I want to get rid of it. So if you click on trim, or if you hit the X button and then highlight part of it, it will show you the part in a dotted line that it's going to get rid of. So I'm going to click there, and I'm going to click there, and it got rid of the extra for me. The opposite of trim is extend. So let's say the one below it is extend. It will show you where it will extend to. This sketch that we made doesn't really make sense. This one kind of makes sense. So if I wanted to extend this line all the way across, it would do that. So the extend and trim buttons work hand in hand. They're opposites of each other. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is I want to make a mirror image of this. So I want this exact thing, but I want it on the other side. So this is really useful if you're making something that's really detailed and you want it to be exactly the same on both sides. You only have to do it once, and then we can make a pattern and mirror it on the other side. So underneath the pattern section, the one at the bottom is mirror, and we're going to need two different things for this. We're going to need a thing to mirror. So we've got these lines we want to mirror, but we need an axis to mirror it down. So we're going to need another line, and I'm just going to start here, put it here. So now I want to mirror things down this line. We can come back and delete this line later if we want to, or there's another option. If you right click on it, we can make this a construction line. And what a construction line is we can see it, but if we tried to 3D print something with construction lines, anything that's a construction line won't show up. So in our 3D actual model, this isn't there, but we can see it in our Inventor file. So we're going to click the pattern button, the mirror button, and we're going to select the things that we want to mirror. So you can go through and click everything, or you can just left click and highlight everything that you want to mirror. So we'll highlight everything. Oops. You'll know if you got it if it's all blue. Oops. Okay, let's just start over. Or all green. There we go. Now we're going to pick a mirror line. So we're going to click that dotted line that we just made, and then click apply, and now we see it on both sides. And so now it's cool, we can mirror this again. So I'm going to make another line, and we'll put that from here to here, and let's make that a construction line too. And I'm going to click pattern, select it all. I'm going to click mirror, and then mirror on this dotted line, and then click apply. So now the simple shape that I made over here, I've duplicated it twice, mirrored it twice, and now I've got a completely filled in object. Okay, so we're going to check something. Well, before we get to that, let's do, we're going to try our fillet button. So right here above the A is a button that's called fillet. It is not fillet, but fillet. And we can soften the edges of our things here. Our sketch is really small, so our fillets also need to be really small. So let's make this like 0.01. Oops. Let's make it even smaller than that. So if you want to change the fillet, we'll double click, make 0.001. Let's see how that looks. Oops, that is not what I wanted. So let's just get rid of this guy. Let's try that again. So we'll make our fillet. Let's grab this one. There we go. So I don't know if you can tell, but so I made my fillet really small because my sketch is small, and it's softened the edge there, and it's softened the edge there. So if we don't want it so pointy, we can click on fillet, and it will soften it a bit. Let's make this one a little bit more. There we go. So now when we do that, you'll notice that other things change. And that has to do with something called constraints, and that will be the subject for another day. But when we change something here and it's constrained, it may cause things to change elsewhere. Okay, so that's the fillet button. Let's go ahead and click finish. So here's our sketch. If it's completely enclosed, we'll be able to extrude it. If it's not completely enclosed, then it won't work. I'll show you in a later video how we can fix it if it is not letting us extrude. So let's go ahead and let's just make this, we don't want it very big. That looks good. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the plane button. And our plane button is right here. And just like in Tinkercad, we work on planes. So when we hit start new sketch and then we click a surface, it's automatically making a new plane for us. But we can add planes wherever you'd like. So if I click on plane, we can have lots of options, and in a future video we'll go through the options. But we can just click plane and then add a plane, and then oops, I clicked the wrong button there. So plane, and then when we're ready to start a sketch, you can click on the plane that you made. We can also do an offset plane. So if we click, and then while you're holding it, you can drag it up and down. Or you can just click and then type in a number or grab the orange cone and move it up and down. But we want it up a little bit, and then go ahead and click OK. So now when we click, we want to highlight where it says work plane 1, or just anywhere where you click on it, and you can see where it says work plane 1 and click on it. So now we're going to be drawing stuff on here. So we could add another sketch here, but there's something that I'd like to be able to do. I'd like to be able to mess with this sketch, but on this plane. So right now, everything is down here, so we can't really change anything or do anything with this because it's on a different plane. So we're going to click project geometry and click on the whole thing. And so now when it's yellow, the geometry of the thing below is up here. So now I can use the bottom sketch to add stuff to it. So I'm going to click OK. And if I wanted to, I could extrude that or whatever. So that's good enough for right now. We'll go in more detail in some of the other things later on.